In the previous video of the build of this laser, I showed some shots of this kind of homemade airplane stand, and since then I've gotten a bunch of different questions about it, so I thought I would just make a quick video showing how it works and sharing the list of parts I use. So if somebody's interested in building something like this or similar, they have a good reference. The idea for this stand came about a few months ago. I was looking for a stand that would work well for this type of plane, a 120cc plane. And I had seen these stands from Terry Wiles made out of wood that had this concept of holding the plane using the wing tube, plus a rear stand to keep the airplane horizontal. I tried to buy one of those. Unfortunately, Terry wasn't selling those anymore. But I basically grabbed that general concept, general idea, and build something pretty similar out of PVC. I didn't have any good tools to do that project out of wood, but PVC is relatively easy to work with. You just need a hacksaw and some PVC cement, and you're good to go. So the basic concept here is that you have these two stands. You have, at least the way I use this is mainly in 3 different positions. You can hold the plane upside horizontal, like this. This is pretty handy when you are doing any work inside the fuselage, on the engine, on the tail. But you can also put this vertical, which can be useful sometimes to do some work on the plane, but for the most part, I use it like this as a way to store the plane. It's fairly easy to just move the stand out of the way in a corner, and the plane takes very little space here in the garage. And the third way I use this is again for maintenance, or during assembly. I can bring this all the way to the other side, and we can work on the bottom side of the plane pretty comfortably. So if we're working on the tail wheel, we're working on engine, exhaust, landing gear. This is a very convenient way. You can get very close to the plane, unlike if you're on a table surface, on a horizontal surface, you can access everything very easily. So the basics of this stand is just a 1.5-inch PVC tube. We have a main base, main stand. This is where the wing tube rests, and then we have just the rear support. For the main stand, we just have like a basic rectangular base, verticals on its side, and then we use 2 T's that we cut just a little bit over the midpoint to rest the wing tube and ensure it doesn't tip over. On the rear, it's a bit more interesting. So this red metal part is actually a Christmas tree stand that I got from Amazon. This actually comes very handy for 2 reasons. One, it's a very easy way to keep this single PVC vertical pipe vertical without having to engineer something else. But also the fact that it's a bit heavy is also very useful. With big planes like the 120cc aerobatic planes, the tail wants to go up because all the weight of the plane is on the front, on the engine. So this bit of extra weight keeps the tail level and keeps the whole thing from going up. A couple other details here. On the rear, we have 2 through bolts, and I use that as a way to secure the Velcro strap. So we have 1 Velcro strap on each side, and then we wrap this around the tail to keep that secured and horizontal. In terms of construction, relatively simple. I think the main thing to keep in mind is when you are inserting PVC pipe into the T's or the elbows, it can be fairly tight even without the glue. So before putting the glue, it's important that you confirm the position, maybe put some marks so that when you add the PVC cement, you can go straight to the right position and you don't have to do any additional attempts, because if you don't get it right the first time with the glue, it might be very hard to remove. I will put the specific dimensions and the parts list in the screen in a second, but just to get an idea of the overall size of the stand, this is basically about 36 inches by 24, and it's 36 inches tall. The rear stand is about 30 inches tall. You might see bolts on the connections with the PVC T's and elbows. In hindsight, I think that's pretty overkill. If I were to do this again, I wouldn't use the bolts. I think the joints are plenty secure just with the PVC cement. Additionally, I use this 1¼ inch diameter wooden dowel. This is basically acting as the wing tube. The reason I like to use this is because that way I don't have to go reach into my actual wing tube. It's one less thing that I have to worry about, like grabbing every time I'm packing for the field. And additionally, this one is slightly easier to put on and take off in the plane. This slides much easier because it's slightly thinner than the actual wing tube. So it just makes the process a bit easier. I also added 2 holes on the wooden dowel so that I could put a bolt that goes through the PVC T. That way there's no possible situation in which I smack this and intentionally it slides all the way out of the airplane housing and the plane would fall. All in all, this project has been pretty successful in my mind. I've been pretty happy with it for the past few months. Total cost was somewhere around $70, including the Christmas tree stand that I got from Amazon. Makes assembly of a plane like this, maintenance, even storage, very convenient. So yeah, definitely recommended. These measurements work really well for a 120cc size plane. You could obviously scale this to something larger or smaller based on the type of plane you wanna support on your stand. I will be putting some additional information in the video description below, like links to the Christmas tree stand. Also, I will put some links to 3D drawings of the main stand and the rear stand designs. That could be useful if you are thinking about making some modifications, like making it larger or smaller for different size plane. You can take a look at that. It's a program that makes basically working with PVC designs very easy. If you end up going for it and building this or something similar, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts and your experience and maybe see some pictures. Until the next video, happy flying!